Welcome back to Indian Trace, and that's about as good a way to start as any. I'm going to show you some points, of course, some great Eastern North Carolina, North American Indian artifacts. And I want to take some time here. Didn't find anything to film out there today. I did check. I don't find anything every time I go out. But I find quite a bit here. For example, what I'm going to show you is it's clearing day. So that means that every week, 2 weeks usually, I clear and organize what I found in terms of my display quality pieces. What we're going to see right here is in 2 weeks' time, and I want to share a little tip with you just to keep you hopeful. In 2 weeks' time is what you're looking at right here. I mean to tell you. And we're going to go on a little tour here, and I'm just going to share a couple things about some of these pieces. And what you're looking at in retrospect here from different perspectives is, of course, North American Indian projectile points. But these are as early as the early archaic period with some of the Guilford Yumas and some of the bifurcated LaCroix here and things like that, as well as points like this. And we're going to look at them all. But early archaic through archaic woodland points as well, such as this. And I know everybody says, man, look at that pink and gray. Are you kidding me, right? Interesting point I found yesterday. But like I said, I have to do this every 1 or 2 weeks. And the far outside, about 14 days ago, when it was dry as a bone, I found this one at B&B Field. It was incredible. But, if you collect these, excuse me for the focus, I'm going to go right around now. If you collect these, and this is a great point I found down there in Site 5 as well, then you realize there's just, and I was chatting with somebody about it, it's like you have times of feast and times of famine. That's just the best way to put it. That's the reality of it. And there's a fantastic scraper here. I mean, the lighting's so good I don't even know where to go to first. So I'm going to try not to jump around. I'm going to try to do it systematically and go right around. Maybe I'll just work from the bottom, just do a little collecting for the LaCroix. But and it's so true, because in the last week I found the majority of these. Last week. Look at this piece. I mean, this was almost 14 days ago, and things were going slow. I only had 2 or 3 pieces in my basket, special little basket here that I keep them all in until it's clearing day. So I only had 2 or 3, maybe 5 pieces in it. This is a nice piece of quartz right here. And that's all. But then within 1 week's time, the milky quartz, things can change. I mean, overnight things can change and areas open up. So, you just got to stay abreast to what condition your areas are in, if you get areas. Look at this scraper. And I'm overwhelmed. Another reason I wanted to do this today is, of course, I had to do some photography, but I have to challenge myself to stay thankful. I found a couple artifacts today. Nothing exceptional, but I mean, this week blew my mind, which happens. I do remember having run 11 miles, 10 miles 4 years ago, and I'd find one arrowhead. I might come in with a nice Morrow Mountain point like that, and I'd come in and I'd be like, oh my God, I found an arrowhead. That's awesome. I'm going running again. And I would run 11 miles, I'd run 8 miles just to find a couple pieces. And now when I've come to the place where I start to understand artifacts and where they live, as you have seen, I find quite a few. Even from new places, like these 2 pieces right here, these 2 points. One in great sugar quartz. Look at that piece. And another right here. Both came from West Haven. Fairly new place, almost 12 days ago, that I decided I just have to name, how it is. And as we go around right here, this was from Backside Cove when the time was right to hunt, which is what most of these came in. Sugar quartz, I think that this was on yesterday's film, was a great and is a great piece. So all in all, I think I mean, if you don't have a stable mind, if you don't know how to put things together, it's going to drive you crazy. Because there are times, as we all know, when you just can't find anything. You're not finding a whole lot. So you might see all this in retrospect and see this display I have and say, are you kidding me? 1 or 2 weeks? That's nuts. And I say that to myself. But there's plenty of times when I'm not finding anything. I just stay keen to my areas and know where to go when the time is right and try to hustle to get out there. Look at this little piece sitting in the middle. And often, repeatedly, month after month, year after year, it pays off. You guys saw this point. Piece of rhyolite. Long point with a stem pulled out of Hidden Hill. Nice looking piece. Very unique piece. I like that. And then we have this long Guilford Yuma. I mean, we're talking about 7,000 BC. I mean, this is an old point. Just missing a little bit on the air. Not a problem at all. Just great stuff. I'm probably going to give that away as a gift or something. I've got so many Guilfords and everything. It's just worthwhile to me. Now, let me go over on this side and go up. Found this at Hidden Hill. It was a great Guilford round. I always like to see the relief on the back. Here's a point from the jump off just the other day where I was able to get a good handful and some points that are just keepers. So as the fall comes in here, I hear a lot of people talking about different conditions and possibilities of finding stuff. Hope you do. You know, I hope you do. I always encourage, and I'm always just, I literally celebrate with people. I'm never really jealous. You know, I hope people find it and just get it out of the way of the plows and stuff. I mean, look at this Guilford. Site 4. Nice point. Just the other day, in Site 2, I found this piece, which is a really interesting piece. Just grew on me after I got it cleaned up and what have you. It's interesting, because this point here and this point here are very similar in style. And then this piece here, which is sugar quartz, a little bit serrated, what have you, I found at B&B Field almost 14 days ago, maybe 15, but just on the outside of where I was just getting ready to refresh and got another group out of the way so I could just make room. Points across the top, little ones. The jump off right here in Rhyolite. West Haven, Site 4. Yesterday at High Rise. I mean, look how small this point is. I don't know if it's doing any justice if I can get it to focus. It's so small. I mean, look at my finger. Gone. Fingernail size. In crystal, that's a great find. Another triangle right here from B&B Field. That was an early find. That sat around for a while. Lonely here with 2 or 3 others before the landslide came in. Nice triangle. This point came in yesterday at High Rise. Nice point. Then of course these drills. My goodness. The one on the right, jump off, and yesterday at High Rise, this point. I think a lot of people would speculate that they're both drills. I happen to think the one on the left they use for projectile, but maybe not. Be nice to know sometimes. Then of course we got this Mr. Pink here. It's just crazy. So as we finish up, I really appreciate you tuning in to Indian Trace, and I wanted to give you a unique perspective of what I bring in the last 2 weeks, as I photograph it and just get ready to archive it. Believe it or not, quite a few of these pieces I'm going to look for another home for. I'm going to find somebody whose heart's right and just absolutely loves this stuff. I'm going to work through it. I already know there's probably about 5, 6, 7 pieces that I'm looking at right here that are going to hit the road, but that's just a good thing because it proves itself out. This stuff came in because a lot of stuff hit the road. A lot of good stuff, and this is good stuff to me. So one last slow look at all this stuff. I appreciate you tuning in and bearing with it, checking it out, enjoying it. What a spectrum of age groups. I mean, we got Bo up here, right? And we've got Lancelot. We've got Lance points here with the Guilfords. And we've got the LaCroix and the early stuff here. You're talking about things like this. Middle dispensations such as Marl Mountains. Alright, well I guess that's just a good tour through a little bit of a museum for you. All in all, just a nice, easy Saturday afternoon. I want to put this up for everybody and just say thanks for tuning in to Indian Trace and all the support. I'm just going out there to do the best I can to seek and save some of this stuff. Make sure you make a comment and tell me, man, that specific piece was my absolute favorite. I love hearing what it is, and you never know. Good things happen. Appreciate you all tuning into Indian Trace, and right there, as I pan out, that right there, that's Indian Trace.